Extreme violence. It's in the media daily. We know it can happen in any part of the world and in settings that might have seemed unimaginable in the past. Areas that used to be considered safe havens, like schools, movie theaters, concert halls, sporting events, shopping centers, and even houses of worship, have recently been targets of extreme violence. But even though extreme violence is increasing in frequency and will probably happen somewhere on any given day, the odds of it happening near you are remote, similar to your chances of being struck by lightning. But how many of us would stand next to a metal pole in a lightning storm?
I'm Randy Spivey, CEO and founder of the Center for Personal Protection and Safety. Because extreme violence can seem so random and beyond our control, many people assume they can't do anything to prepare or respond, but that's not true.
As dangerous as these situations are, there are things you and your family members can do to recognize warning signs before they occur and maximize your chances of surviving if extreme violence does occur. And that's what this training is designed to do. In today's world environment, the threat of extreme violence can come in many forms. Someone with a gun, a knife, a backpack bomb, or even a vehicle. It's important to know that when extreme violence occurs, however, it's often over in a few minutes before help can arrive. People caught inside this situation are in what we call the extreme danger gap, that period of time between the onset of violence and the arrival of authorities. And it's important to understand that inside the extreme danger gap, before first responders arrive, you are an immediate responder, and anything you do or don't do can have a significant impact on the outcome. It's a time when you and no one else must be responsible for your personal safety and security.
Research shows there are important differences between the reactions of people who've been trained to face stressful, life-threatening situations and those who have not.
A normal response for those that haven't received training is to be startled, overcome by fear, stuck in denial and disbelief, and then reach out and hold on to others for moral support. Trained individuals have the same initial reaction, but then are able to recall a more effective response and move with purposeful action.
So the first step is what we call situational awareness, which really means paying attention, being aware of your surroundings, while recognizing potential hazards and dangers, as well as potential safe havens or avenues of retreat and safety.
Common items such as cell phones, books, or conversations with others can distract people and make them more vulnerable to being victims of violence. We don't want you to be paranoid, just aware. The more strategic your awareness, the more time you give yourself to pick up on something or someone approaching will allow you more time to consider your options. Select one and then act.
It's like learning to drive a car. Many new drivers are focused on the instrument panel right in front of them, rather than looking ahead for approaching cars or pedestrians who may suddenly come from any direction. The fact is, many acts of extreme violence are detectable before they occur, and not just by trained professionals, but people just like you. If you're aware of what's going on around you, you'll be better prepared to recognize any indicators that something may be wrong.
Something that sounds like it could be gunshots, a backpack left on a bench, people yelling down the hallway, or even the sound of a vehicle engine in an area where it shouldn't be located. Trust your instincts. If something doesn't seem right, pay attention to that sense. It may be nothing, but better to be safe than sorry. Once you figure out what is going on, you'll be better prepared to take action. You've probably heard the statement, if you see something, say something. The reality is that individuals like you that have seen something that is out of place and reported it have on numerous occasions prevented incidents of extreme violence.
So if you do see something that seems suspicious or out of the ordinary, let someone know. If what you observe, though, appears to be an immediate threat, you're inside the extreme danger gap and it's time to act.
In the extreme danger gap, you have three key options: get out or run, hide out and keep the threat out, or take out and defend yourself. If you determine you can get out to a safer area, then get out and get out fast. Don't wait for others to validate your decision, and leave your belongings behind. The best way to survive an extreme violence event is not to be where the threat is. When you get out, immediately call out to let authorities know what's going on. Don't assume someone else is calling. Calmly and quickly tell them where you are and what's happening. In some cases, you may not be able to get out. The threat may be between you and the only exit, or perhaps you would have to enter the area or the hallway the assailant is using. It might be safer for you to remain in place because you're well hidden and protected. In any case, if you can't get out, then you must find a place to hide out. Find a place that will keep you hidden from the attacker's view and will provide some measure of protection should the threat be in your area. If possible, avoid places that might trap you or restrict your options of movement. Once you've found your spot to hide out, you want to keep out the threat. Hiding in a room that can be locked and that has plenty of things to hide behind is best. Blockade the door with heavy furniture, even if the door can be locked. If the threat is nearby, though, just lock the door and get totally silent. Turn out the lights. Turn off any radios or other noises in the room that might give away your location. And don't forget to silence your phone if you have one. If there are 2 or more of you in the same place, do not huddle together for mutual protection or moral support. Spread out. Even if you're in a small room, spreading out will give you options and make it harder for the threat if he does get into your hiding place. When spreading out in a room, quietly talk about what you'll do if he enters.
Whichever action you're taking, whether it's get out or hide out and keep out, you should help out where you can.
Help others escape as you go. Help prevent others from entering the danger area. If someone near you has a life-threatening injury, if possible, provide first aid and keep them alive. Let others around you know what's happening and try to remain calm and help them to focus on survival.
Keep in mind, as events unfold, you must continue to figure out what's happening so you can adjust your actions accordingly.
Unfortunately, you may find yourself in the same room or location as the threat, maybe even face-to-face. You have to assume that his intentions are lethal to you, that his very presence is a very real threat to your life. If the assailant has decided to attack everyone he comes across, he will probably succeed unless you stop him.
If you can't hide out and you have absolutely no other option, you may have to confront the attacker and defend yourself.
Convince yourself you have what it takes to survive when your life is on the line. This is a life and death decision only you can make. It's so important to understand that in this kind of situation, anything you do or don't do may involve life-threatening risk. To do this, you'll need to have what we call a mental permission slip to act, becoming more aggressive than you ever thought possible. Your objective here is very clear. Take him to the ground and control his hands. Once you do this, you'll be able to remove the weapon and the immediate threat will be over. If possible, act as a team. Throwing things, yelling, using improvised weapons can all be effective in this situation, but total commitment and absolute resolve are critical.
This may sound impossible, but the truth is many extreme violence incidents have come to an end by immediate responders just like yourself, acting as a team, bringing the violence to a halt.
And here is something you have probably never thought about. If you or others had to directly confront an assailant and you have successfully disarmed that person, whatever you do, don't pick up that weapon. Otherwise, you might be seen as a threat to authorities when they arrive. In an environment where a vehicle could be used as a weapon, such as parking lots, open markets, or crowded city streets, situational awareness and rapid response are key. If you noticed a vehicle driving erratically or too fast for the environment, you should immediately seek protection and warn others if you can. Running into a building, getting behind parked vehicles or structures like a concrete or metal pillar are all potential options. Regardless, you must be prepared to act quickly, as every second you delay means a speeding vehicle can cover up to 100 feet of distance. The extreme danger gap ends when help arrives, but it's still a very dangerous situation until they succeed in ending the violence. And it's important to be aware that they'll have no way of knowing immediately whether or not you're a threat. Keep your hands visible with fingers spread apart so they'll know you're not holding a weapon. Don't make any sudden movements or react in a way that might look threatening. Immediately comply with instructions from the authorities. Be prepared to calmly, quickly, and accurately tell them anything they need to know, anything that will help them locate and identify the threat and end the violence.
So practice situational awareness wherever you are, mindful of your surroundings. And understand that although unlikely, incidents of extreme violence can occur anywhere, to anyone, at any time. So if you think something is wrong, believe what you see and hear, then act, and continue to do that until the crisis is over. You can survive.